Hello everybody, it is Alna, it is Brony time, and welcome back to Let's Play Ace Attorney Investigations. When we last left off, we interrogated Gumshoe on what the heck he was lying about. Turns out he was lying to protect Kay Faraday, the child of our victim, because she made a promise. So, of course it was something as small as that. I'm like, dude, you're about to be accused of murder, you need to be truthful. If you don't want to get arrested, but of course we still haven't proven his innocence yet, so we're gonna do an investigation of courtroom number 1. So we need to talk to Detective Bad. Detective Bad, what exactly was Kay searching for? Nothing that concerns you, boy. Oh, and I suppose it has something to do with Kay? It does, because she's Faraday's daughter. Anyway, hurry up and get to the point. I don't have time to waste. It sounds like you'd rather be left alone. I have something I'd like to confirm with you once again. I don't have anything to say to you. Be that as it may, we still have questions that we need answers to. Now then, first of all, what is this overpowering smell that is permeating this room? Upon entering this room, I thought I was going to suffocate. It's that ultra-strong perfume you wears. She spilled some of it. I was having a bad time of it myself. I didn't think twice and opened the window, but that smell's still here. Perfume, huh? So this sweet scent here is perfume. Well, it's giving off quite a stench. I bet it's some cheap no-name brand. She said it's a famous brand from overseas. It's a knockoff. Yes, definitely a knockoff. No disrespect, but she forced one of those bottles on me. Here, little girl, you can have it. I was born for much more expensive and refined perfume. However, seeing as how you just happen to have a spare, I suppose I'll take it. Miles Edgeworth, you will hold on to this bottle without fail. Why can't she ever be honest about her wants? So now we have the perfume Miss Yu wears. Just fantastic. Is that all you wanted to talk about? If so, I'm going back to investigating. Actually, I still have a few other things I wish to inquire about. So you were in this room the entire recess. Like I said, I made a call to the precinct to get that big lug down here. But other than that, I was waiting for the recess to end in here. At least your story is consistent. Earlier you stated that you were in this lobby with Miss Yu. Yeah, I ran into her in the hallway. She said she wanted to talk to me about something, so we came in here. Then what you're saying is that until Detective Gumshoe's arrival, you and Miss Yu were in 2 different locations. Guess I am. Interesting. Speaking of that lawyer, she seems to have a great dislike for you. Let's see, Miss Yu is the sister of the victim of KG8 incident. As I recall, Detective Bad was the lead detective on the case. I wonder if the reason for the disdain isn't simply because you failed to guard Cecil, but because you were the lead detective on the case. You knew? I also know that today's trial involving the Cordopian Embassy staff member is being referred to as the second KG incident. Now then, Detective, I believe it's time you were honest with me, and told me the truth behind your relationship with Miss Yu and Mr. Faraday in the KG8 incident. If you already know that much, I guess it'd be alright to tell you. Now then, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the KG8 incident. It's not exactly a happy story. Other than the people who are directly involved, you two will be the first to hear what I'm about to tell. The honest truth behind the KG8 incident. Faraday, you and I. As you already know, we 3 were involved with the KG8 incident. Faraday and I were the originally on the trail of a smuggling ring. You mean the smuggling case involving one of the Amana Group's secretaries? That trial was just a front. A facade. Yeah, but the case became tainted. All because the witness who was going to testify about the Amana Group's tie to the smuggling ring, CCU, was killed. Then what became of the secretary who was arrested? His name was Colin Deveray. To be honest, the guy didn't know a thing about that smuggling ring. But he confessed to knowing about it anyway. Deveray was probably being intimidated by that big boss man. Just another scapegoat. The boss man of the Amano group. You can't seriously mean Mr. Ernest Amano. It can't be right. It's probably just Detective Bad's personal hypothesis. What is he trying to do, suspecting Mr. Amano of being involved with smuggling? I suppose it would have been quite difficult to secure an acquittal after he confessed. But the man who killed CCU, Manny Kochen, was a... Kochen? I don't know how to pronounce that. Was a completely different person. But since he's already been acquitted once of her murder, Mr. Faraday, how could you have let him go? If I remember correctly, I heard that Mr. Faraday had an important piece of evidence stolen from him. That wasn't Faraday's fault. It was mine. I wasn't vigilant enough. Faraday, Cece, I was supposed to protect them both. Miss Yu did mention this as well, about how Detective Bad was supposed to guard her sister. But even I, who was supposed to protect them, I fell into their trap. What kind of trap? The holes in this jacket are a testament to that trap. You mean you were fired upon? You were shot at that many times in one gunfight? No. Only about half of these are from that case. But the reason I continue to wear this jacket is to remind myself of the lessons I learned from the KG-8 incident. I see. I couldn't protect CCU. The suspect was found not guilty. We had hit a brick wall, as far as the law was concerned. And that's when she came to the courtroom, the victim's sister. That's when I first met Callisto Yu. About when you first met Miss Yu. It was on the day the verdict of the KG-8 incident was handed down, was it not? Yes. Faraday and I, we apologized to her from the bottom of our hearts. It was all we could do, but just saying you're sorry won't bring my sister back, she said. And then she gave me a hard slap across the face. Well, she certainly had a lot of self-control to stop at just a slap. If it was me, not even 100 lashes would have been punishment enough. I suppose not. You said it herself. That she never wanted to see either of us ever again. But after that, you've seen her many times over, correct? Yeah. Faraday and I, even after the KG-8 incident, had come to a close. We continued to hunt down the smuggling ring, got involved in a variety of cases. But it was no use. We cracked so many different cases. But the result was always the same. We couldn't find the real mastermind behind the ring. Is the ring really that big? It was in the pursuit of the ring that we met you once again. It was during another trial related to the smuggling ring. Faraday was the prosecutor, and I, as the lead detective, took to the witness stand. She appeared out of the blue as the defense attorney. Her client was related to the smuggling ring, and she was defending them? Yeah, Yu was pursuing the ring as best she could as a lawyer. I think she defended well this time, for the same reason. Come to think of it, Miss Yu did say something to the same effect. It doesn't matter what her reason is. Helping a criminal is just despicable. You're so naive, little girl. I could have stolen this lollipop from you. That's how naive you are. How dare you insult the daughter of a Von Karma? Just like us, you felt that she had hit the limit of what the law could do. That's all. The law is merely a tool. There's no limit to it, only the skill of the craftsman. You two are still too young, but one day you'll know what I mean. But enough sidetracking. What matters is that we met you again in pursuit of the smuggling ring. That's all. So what was your relation to Mr. Faraday? You even seem to know Kay fairly well. I met him when he was a rookie prosecutor. Known him ever since. Kay, I've known her since the day she was born. Faraday and we cracked quite a few cases together. But you two seem to have made no progress at all in the Adagarasu case. Adagarasu case. Did we touch a nerve? I only have one thing to say to you. No one knew more about the Adagarasu than me and Faraday. That's why I was called upon to testify in today's trial, to prove that Rel was not the real Adagarasu, which I would have done if he hadn't turned around and accused Faraday. After the accusation, I was asked to testify, but this time, to prove or disprove the accusation. I guess I won't be doing that either. I sense there's more to that statement than meets the eye. Perhaps a bit more digging into the Adagarasu is necessary. You claim to know much about the Adagarasu. Why would you care to share whether you know with me? What you two should be looking for right now is proof of murderous intent towards Faraday and Rel. I agree, which is exactly why I'm asking you about the Adagarasu. What? The KJ incident and the second KJ incident. Both of these cases are tied to the smuggling ring. And in both of these cases, the witness who was to testify about the ring was murdered. However, there is one point at which they differed. That is the presence or absence of the great thief Adagarasu. Mr. Rel claimed to be Adagarasu, however, in the middle of the trial, he suddenly declared Mr. Faraday to be the real Adagarasu. Then, during the recess, they were both killed. Don't you find that to be the least bit odd? Miles Edgeworth, stop beating around the bush and just spit it out already! I believe that there must be some reason that the two men suspected of being the Adagarasu were both killed at the same time. The reason? Huh? And so, in order to catch Mr. Faraday's and Mr. Rel's cold-blooded killer, I feel that I need to learn as much as I can about the Adagarasu. It will help you solve this case. Then I'll tell you. I'll tell you the reason why we never caught the Adagarasu. What was that sudden outburst for? You almost made me vip you by accident. Yo! It's still accidentally whipped me anyway. There are three main reasons why the Adagarasu will always be one step ahead. First, the Adagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Adagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. Third, the Adagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind ever. I see. So those are the Adagarasu's special traits. Sounds like an incredibly elusive thief. The Adagarasu has never been caught on tape, never tries to draw anyone's attention, and would never do something as lowbrow as commit murder. That's how I knew that Rel wasn't the real Adagarasu right away. But you can't use that sort of logic on its own to prove that he wasn't. Listen, little girl, I'm not done talking yet. What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police, and the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Codopian embassy, the Adagarasu. The Adagarasu sent the evidence. Until now, the Adagarasu always publicized any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others, knew about. In that case, how can you be so sure that it was the Adagarasu who sent it? That's easy. A special card that only the Adagarasu used was attached. That's how I can be so sure. Just what sort of card is it? Here, take a look at this article. Whenever the Adagarasu wants to publicize something, a white card is sent along with the stolen information. But when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was. Ah, and that's how Detective Bad knew that Mr. Rel was a phony. Thank you very much. I have a much better understanding of the Adagarasu now. Sorry. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes? His Honor would like to transfer the evidence from today's trial over to you. So if you could please head over to the courtroom, it'd be much appreciated, sir. Understood. I'll be there shortly. Detective Bad, what does the law mean to you? Finding the answer to that question is the only reason I'm still alive. I became a prosecutor to find the answer to that question myself, and to play a part in ensuring that all criminals everywhere are found guilty. Oh, it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. It appears that His Honor is still a bit dispirited. For the first time today, I experienced what it's like to stand at the witness stand. I now have a greater appreciation for just how hard it is to give testimony. Well, there's no reason for you to be all depressed about it, Your Honor. As a judge, no one expects you to think about anything other than the verdict. Francesca, there is no need to further depress His Honor. But I'm not trying to, Miles. Your Honor. Your Honor, I've come to collect the evidence that was to be transferred to me. Your Honor, the evidence? Your Honor! Oh, yes, can I help you? I'd like to collect the evidence now, sir. Your Honor, do you think you can stay focused long enough to at least do your job? Yes, I'm sorry. And I would expect that the defense attorney has yet to arrive. She is busy with the investigation. So let's keep this brief, shall we? Very well. In that case, please confirm that all the pieces of evidence are present. Furthermore, the evidence that was used in the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Wren are also included. So please go ahead and use them in your investigation into your case. Understood, Your Honor. Pieces of evidence that were used in the murder of these two men. This could be a very good chance for me to find new leads regarding their case, and maybe even something that will finally lead me to the truth. I placed all the evidence over at the prosecutor's bench for you. I see. Thank you very much. I'll go and confirm that they are all accounted for. So this is the evidence related to today's Cadopian Embassy trial for Mr. Faraday's bag. You mean the evidence bags that was on this table in lobby number 2, right? Yes, finally we can now take a look at the evidence itself, and not just data about them. Let's be sure to thoroughly examine them while we have the time. Agreed. I want to take a good look at all of the evidence from the Embassy murder too. And why is that? Because I still don't fully understand what today's trial was about. God, don't point your crop at me just because you don't know something. And don't you try to order me around just because Papa chose you today. I see, someone is still sore about not being picked by Mr. Von Kahn. It's also real to see the knife up close. So we have the knife, the gun, an envelope. And that's the organizer doing here. Oh, that's right. I completely forgot to tell you. About what, Your Honor? They found Mr. Faraday's personal organizer inside that evidence bag of his. Detective Bad requested it to be passed along to you. He said it would help with the investigation. Detective Bad said that? What a strange stroke of luck. Well, never look a gift horse in the mouth. You might as well flip through it, too. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. It's the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday. Who would have thought that such a beautiful piece of art could be used for such a cruel act? And it's never crossed your mind that you use your riding crop for the wrong purpose? I'll take a quick look through the documents before the trial started. Well, I wasn't even afforded the opportunity to skim it. I suppose I should explain it to you then. Yes, you should, perfectly in its entirety, if you please. On the night of September 8th, an embassy staff member was killed in front of the embassy. The staff member died of shock to being shot in the heart. Macwell was brought in at the night as a suspect and thoroughly questioned, because the murder weapon was found on him, for which he was arrested on the spot. A simpleton of a man, that's what he was. Perhaps he was, for the weapon wasn't the only incriminating evidence we had. Mr. Rowe was caught in the act on film by a security camera. He was an even bigger simpleton than I'd thought. I can't believe he didn't notice the security camera. The Cadopian Embassy security system is supposed to be very well designed. He may have simply not been aware that there was a camera in this area. So, have you seen the contents of the video for yourself? Yes, the surveillance video the security camera took was played during the trial by Mr. Faraday. You can clearly identify Mr. Rell on it. Even the sound of the gunshot was crystal clear. So the footage included sound, huh? I don't think I'd ever want to see the moment of someone's death in real life. Me neither. Me neither. Mr. Faraday's organizer. It appears he was in the habit of using it. Looks like he wrote his strategy for getting Mr. Rell convicted down in here. Collected evidence needed to prove that Rell was the killer between the handgun Rell had on him when he was arrested and the tape. It appears that Mr. Faraday honestly believed that Mr. Rell was the killer in the case. Interesting. And it would also appear that he had proof that Mr. Rell was not the Adagarasu. And he apparently also had a very definitive piece of evidence. Yes, I believe that Mr. Faraday was well prepared to discredit any claim Mr. Rell may have made about being the real Yatagarasu. And he had to fail to prove that Mr. Rell was the guilty party in the embassy murder. This organizer flew straight from Mr. Faraday. I'll have to take my time and give it a thorough read later. Look, there's a picture stuck between these pages here. It appears to be a key. A rather ornate one at that, and a rather ornate one at that. Just look at the design on the handle. The craftsmanship is superb. Could this be the Atagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentioned as organizer? The Atagarasu's key? Detective Bad said something earlier. Mr. Faraday must have been trying to keep this secret key safe. As the prosecutors on both the Adagarasu and smuggling cases, that's to be expected. That's odd. What is it? Mr. Faraday didn't mention anything about a knife in his organizer. That certainly is odd. The weapon that was used to kill the Cadopian Embassy staff member was the gun. But if that's the case, then where did the knife that was used to murder Mr. Faraday come from? It's obvious. It was brought into the courthouse by Mr. Rell. That is the only logical conclusion, right? No, because it's not that easy to smuggle a weapon like that in here. Every person who enters the courthouse doors is checked thoroughly for contraband. Furthermore, the suspect was handcuffed, making it impossible for him to bring a knife as large as this inside. In that case, how do you suppose this knife ended up inside the courthouse? I need to think carefully here. There is nothing related to the knife written anywhere in Mr. Faraday's organizer. However, it is a fact that this knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Conversely, there is one item listed on Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one has claimed to have seen today. So in order to solve this mystery, I believe I will need to take another good look at the evidence. Miles Edgeworth, can I take the facts that you have yet to answer me to mean that you don't have an answer for me? Actually, I do know the answer, Francesca. What? Then what is it? One of the pieces of evidence we've been holding has been holding a secret of its own. It was through this piece of evidence that the knife was brought into the courthouse. The Yatagarasu's key.
Take that!
This Yatagarasu's key, Mr. Faraday mentions, is his organizer. This is how the knife was brought into the courthouse. You're not making any sense, Miles Edgeworth. You just need to look a bit closer, Francesca, to see what I mean. Don't the color and the ornament of this key's handle remind you of anything? They do remind me of the knife. Very good. Both the Yatagarasu's key in this photo and the murderous knife have this very unique design on their handles. Furthermore, even though Mr. Faraday mentions the Yatagarasu's key, the only object we found at the crime scene was the knife. You don't seriously mean to say. It appears that you finally caught up. And yes, I do mean to say that these two pieces are in fact one and the same. But that's impossible! Even if that is what you believe, we should still investigate this possibility. Now then, let us examine this knife in a little more detail. Game. Guess I can't check the handle. It's the weapon that was used to kill Mr. Faraday. The handle and the blade itself both have beautiful designs built into them. Look, there's even a flower-shaped design in this gold section here. If this hadn't been used as a tool for murder, I'd want it for myself. He seems to be drawn to the embellishments. Too bad this isn't mine to give. Okay, okay. I was like, there's nothing on this handle to examine? I can't believe it turned into a key. To think there was such a trick to this thing. So the weapon used to kill Mr. Faraday is actually the key to Yatagarasu stole. This piece of information is more critical than anything we've learned up until now. Frankly, I'm shocked. Mr. Faraday only mentioned the key aspect of this piece of evidence in his organizer. It's possible even he had no idea that the key was hiding a knife blade inside. But if that's true, then only someone who knew about the key to the knife trick could have killed Mr. Faraday. Even among law enforcement, this key was top secret. We're looking for someone who knew even more about the key than even Mr. Faraday, meaning that the only person it could be is the one who sent the key in the first place, the great thief Yatagarasu. And maybe Mr. Red really was the Yatagarasu, and he was the one who killed Mr. Faraday. Isn't that only possible scenario? No, not really, especially since Mr. Faraday was absolutely convinced that Mr. Well was not the Yatagarasu. Besides, as Detective Bad said earlier, when questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was. I see, alright then, I guess the person who knows the trick behind this key is someone else, and that person is the real Yatagarasu. It seems that this key is truly the key to solving this case. Alrighty, well, as much as I want to get through this part, we're at time, so... Yeah, so here we go, we're learning more and more about it. We've narrowed down our pool of suspects on who it could be, since the person had to know the trick to the knife. Thank you all for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to bring time for more content, especially more Ace Attorney investigations. Also, please make sure to share this video far and wide so you can get many eyes on this series as possible. And I will see you all next time.